Hi, and welcome back to the Alphaweibchen podcast bonus clips. This week we've been talking about priming positivity, and today I want to focus on mood-boosting chemicals. Now, I don't know if any of you out there are fans of chemicals that are going to boost your mood, but I know I sure am. That said, I'm not talking about the chemicals that you can buy in the nightclub or in the pharmacy or on the street corner. I'm talking about the chemicals that are completely naturally produced by our bodies themselves and by our brains. And I've got 3 keywords for you that help in terms of really optimizing your mood boosting chemicals. First and foremost, exercise. Now, I'm a certified personal trainer, so I'm an admitted exercise fanatic sometimes. I certainly have my lazy days as well, but I do believe strongly in the power of exercise. And I think that most of us are pretty convinced that exercise is good for our bodies. What a lot of people don't know is that exercise is equally as good for our brains and for our overall well-being. In fact, physical activity boosts our mental alertness, our energy levels, as well as our overall mood. Now, part of the reason for that is these mood-boosting chemicals. Physical activity actually causes our bodies and our brain to produce these mood-boosting chemicals. Now, one that a lot of people are familiar with is endorphins. And endorphins are famously known for the runner's high. And so when you're out there and you're doing a long run and you kind of hit the wall, and you're tired and don't feel like you can go on anymore, and then your body does something that's really magical, is it produces these endorphins. And these are essentially their chemicals and hormones that help you to not feel the pain and suffering as much anymore. And so this is a great way to be able to be more resilient. The endorphins that get released into our body help us to better be able to cope with stress and difficult situations. In addition to endorphins, physical activity also promotes the release of dopamine and serotonin. And those are brain chemicals that are very, very important in boosting our mood and stabilizing our mood. And so that's why, at the end of an exercise sequence, whether you're running or walking or lifting weights, when you finish, you feel good. You have more energy, you feel happier, you feel better all around. And that's because of all of this cool stuff that your body is naturally doing and these cool chemicals that it's providing you with. So that's number 1. Number 2 is sleep. And sleep is probably one of the most underrated tools that we have at our disposal for being more positive. And the reason being is kind of the counter to exercise is sleep allows our bodies and our brain to go into a period of rest. And that's absolutely critical because it enables all of the recovery processes to start to run. And so with getting a proper amount of sleep at night, your brain and your body can run through these recovery processes. And essentially, you can think about kind of the hormones and the chemicals that work while you're asleep as being the garbage collectors. And so they're gathering up all of the bad stuff that has happened during the day, processing that, and then working to get rid of it. And that's why, if you've had a night of 8 hours of sleep, you wake up the next morning and you feel a lot more positive completely naturally because you basically have put yourself into a position where you've got a blank sheet of paper to start from. You're not carrying over all of the bad stuff from yesterday. And then the third word that I have for you today is social connections, which is actually 2 words, but third phrase, so you know what I mean. Social connections are hugely important in priming positivity. Part of that is because we as humans, we're social creatures. We are social animals, and we need to have meaningful relationships in our lives to feel good. Not only because we're happier when we have social connections, but also because social connections trigger stress-reducing hormones, as well as chemicals relating to empathy and to developing more meaningful and more trusting relationships. And so there's a chemical called oxytocin, which is famously known for being released when a mother gives birth to a baby. And that enables her to develop an instantaneous, strong bond towards that baby. Oxytocin is released in other human interactions as well. When somebody pats you on the shoulder, you get a release of oxytocin. When somebody says love, I love the work that you did. I love you. I love how you are today. that word love triggers an oxytocin release, and it naturally makes us feel more empathetic to the person that we're dealing with and more trusting. We feel better about that person, and we're more likely to establish a more meaningful connection and a more meaningful relationship. And so all of that has the effect that it boosts our immune system, it boosts our overall well-being, and in fact, strong, meaningful connections even can help you live longer. There have been scientific studies that have proven that. So there you go, our 3 terms for the day and how to prime positivity. Get your exercise, make sure you're getting enough sleep, and really build your social connections and spend time with people who are meaningful to you.